This video includes a paid sponsorship from Ritual, but I'll talk more about that later. It's no secret that Tesla's 4680 battery production is ramping much slower than Tesla originally anticipated, apparently much in part due to issues with their revolutionary new dry electrode manufacturing process. In an apparent effort to fix their production woes, though, Tesla recently hired a new battery expert who is now director of dry electrode development at Tesla. Let's discuss Tesla's dry electrode struggles, this new hire, and how his past experience should help Tesla in a big way. I'm John, and this is Cleanerwatt. Tesla's dry electrode manufacturing process is really one of the key technologies that allows them to build out battery factories with a 10 times smaller footprint per gigawatt hour and a 75% reduction in investment per gigawatt hour, thus making mass production more attainable. That is when everything is working as it should. Even as recently as March 1st of this year, Elon Musk said, quote, "The dry electrode problem is really quite a hard problem." Elon then went on to reference the difference between a technology working at small scale versus large scale. This is a topic that Drew Baglino also discussed quite a bit at Tesla's Investor Day on March 1st of this year. And at the end of the day, mass production of batteries is extremely hard and brings with it a whole new set of problems. Now, the good news is, while Tesla's progress has been slower than I and others, and really even Tesla would have hoped, at the end of the day, the Tesla team is making progress. And as Drew Baglino recently stated at Tesla's Investor Day once again on March 1st, in the context of their dry process, he said, quote, "We haven't stalled out yet on the rate of progress either. That's both on the anode and the cathode side." Tesla first unveiled their new 4680 battery technology back in September of 2020. And at that Battery Day event, they laid out some huge goals, like, for instance, reaching 100 gigawatt hours of batteries being produced per year in 2022. And they had a goal of reaching 3 terawatt hours of battery production by 2030. These are, of course, huge goals, but Tesla's ramp has been slower than expected, and in 2022 they got nowhere near 100 gigawatt hours being produced, and their run rate was much closer to like 4 gigawatt hours of batteries being produced per year. Now, while Tesla did miss their 2022 goal by a pretty large margin, Tesla is once again improving quite a bit, and Elon Musk made it very clear as recently as March 1st that he believed that Tesla's 4680 battery production would reach volume production this year. Now, when it comes to some of the reasons why I believe Elon Musk is confident that they will reach some kind of volume production of 4680 battery production by the end of this year, beyond Elon's confidence in the dry process itself, I believe a lot of his confidence comes from the fact that they recently hired a new director of dry electrode development, Matt Tyler, whose unique battery manufacturing experience very well could be the key to Tesla hitting volume production. But who is Matt Tyler, and how will he help Tesla? I'll get to that shortly, but before I do that, I want to introduce the sponsor of today's video. Thanks to Ritual for sponsoring this portion of today's video. I'm extremely careful about the food or supplements that I take into my body, so before I agreed to promote Ritual's products, I needed to feel good about the brand, and I'm happy to report that Ritual does get my seal of approval. I really appreciate their transparency when it comes to the ingredients that they use and why, and it allows me to fill the gaps in my diet with no shady additives, fillers, or colorants. I'm currently taking their Essential for Men Multivitamin 18 Plus, which contains 10 high-quality nutrients like vitamin A, D, omega-3, and zinc, and also Ritual's Symbiotic Plus, which includes not only probiotics, but also prebiotics and a postbiotic. I really love that both bottles include a peppermint essential oil infused tab insert that adds a refreshing minty essence. In addition to what I take, Ritual has vitamins to support everyone, including a multivitamin for women, a 50 plus, a prenatal, postnatal, and also a teen vitamin. They also have their essential protein products as well. Subscribe and have Ritual's products delivered straight to your door every month and save 20% off by going to ritual.com/cleanerwatt20 and use the code cleanerwatt20 at checkout. Okay, going back to Matt Tyler. Previous to joining Tesla in February of this year, according to his LinkedIn profile, Matt was vice president of advanced manufacturing at battery startup 24M, who is developing what they call a semi-solid cell manufacturing process that was inspired by flow batteries. Now Matt Tyler is Tesla's director of dry electrode development. I was recently made aware of Tesla's hiring of Matt Tyler in an article that @RMCKRK shared on Twitter, and Steve Levine, the author of this article, which was published on theinformation.com, was able to speak with Matt Tyler and ask him a few questions about Tesla's 4680 progress. I'll put a link to the full article in the video description below so you can check that out. But basically, in short, as this article points out, quote, Tyler will lead a development team headed by Hugh Duong, lead author of the original papers and patents for DBE, which Duong helped develop at Maxwell Technologies. Tesla bought Maxwell in 2019. When Tesla purchased Maxwell Technologies back in 2019, the dry electrode manufacturing process had already been somewhat proven out at a small scale. However, once again, as Elon Musk and Drew Baglino pointed out at Tesla's Investor Day, when manufacturing at large scale, issues that were not a problem at low volume suddenly can become a major problem, like the example that Drew gave about how even a 0.1% escape of fines creates a dust problem. When it comes to Matt Tyler's specific focus at Tesla, in his own words that were recorded by Steve Levine in this article, Matt Tyler said, quote, "You've got engineering problems that need to be solved. That's my focus. How can I enable the team that's been assembled here to do that and continue to build that team to do it over and over and over again as more and more factories come together?" Now, as I and others have reported, with Tesla's first generation 4680 batteries, like the ones that Jordan from the Limiting Factor had analyzed, the anodes were made with a dry process, but the cathodes were still made with a standard wet process. It is assumed that Tesla is having more issues with the dry process on the cathode side than with the anode side, and with the anode side, Tesla appears to be making pretty good progress. As this Steve Levine article points out, when Matt Tyler was specifically questioned about only using the dry process for anode manufacturing and not on the cathode side, Matt said, quote, "There are engineering issues to solve broadly. We are picking them off one by one for both anode and cathode." The vagueness of this response from Matt Tyler reminds me a little bit of something that Drew Baglino mentioned when he said, referring to Tesla's dry electrode manufacturing progress, quote, "We haven't stalled out yet on the rate of progress either. That's both on the anode and the cathode side." As a reminder, this statement from Drew Baglino was the only comment made at Tesla's Investor Day that included somewhat of an update about their dry electrode process on the cathode side. And Drew later made mention of the Texas factory running two separate anode lines with two iterations of the final process step of the powder entering the tool, but there was no mention of similar tests being run on a dry cathode line, and I believe that Tesla is being very vague for a reason, which leads me to believe that Tesla is still experiencing more problems with the dry process on the cathode side than they are having with the anode side. Okay, now going back to Matt Tyler, and more specifically when it comes to the company that he previously worked for, 24M. Interestingly, while 24M's battery technology is radically different from Tesla's in many ways, they do share one big thing in common, and that's the fact that both technologies, when it comes to electrode manufacturing, eliminate the need for spacious and time-consuming drying ovens. Tesla's electrode manufacturing replaces the traditional liquid slurry process with a dry mix of active electrode powder and a polymer binder that is then squashed onto the metal electrode film. Since liquid solvents are not used in this process, the finished electrodes have no need to go through the long and slow drying process. They are already dry and ready to be used in a battery. 24M, on the other hand, doesn't technically use a dry process, but instead, as this MIT article describes, they are able to ditch the drying process by embracing the gooey electrode mix. And instead of adding the electrolyte at the end of the battery manufacturing process, they, quote, "inject the wet electrolyte into the cell from the start," as this Quartz article from 2015 described. Tesla and 24M might have two very distinctly different battery technologies that are being developed right now, but both technologies fully realized reach a similar end goal, which is massive simplification of the battery manufacturing process. Now, it might be obvious to a lot of you, but I just wanted to make it clear that when Tesla hires someone like Matt Tyler from 24M, 24M's battery technology is protected by patents. So Tesla's hiring of Matt is not for the technology itself, but rather for Matt's leadership experience at a company that is developing an out-of-the-box way to manufacture batteries, one that questioned and eliminated many of the traditional expectations of manufacturing batteries, which is what I believe Tesla was looking for, someone who was willing to think out of the box when it comes to battery manufacturing. According to his LinkedIn profile, before Matt held the management, director, or VP positions at 24M, he was, as he wrote, quote, principal mechanical engineer responsible for leading all aspects of the mechanical design of the lithium-ion battery cell, as well as assembly process development for high volume production. Matt's engineering experience, as well as his leadership experience at a company that is developing a new battery technology, I believe that will be very valuable. And I believe Matt is going to be a big asset to the Tesla team. With that being said, Tesla recently did something that I believe is a very positive sign when it comes to the ramping of their 4680 battery technology, because previously Tesla has only offered a limited number of 4680 equipped Model Ys to customers, either by invitation or through an in-inventory vehicle purchase. However, Tesla recently added the standard range all-wheel drive Model Y, which is equipped with 4680 batteries, and they added that to the design studio, so now anyone in the USA can order one. Matt Tyler and the team seem to be doing a great job, and with this recent news of the standard range all-wheel drive Model Y being added to the design studio, this gives me a lot of hope that this is a sign that Tesla is reaching a much higher production rate for these batteries. At Tesla's Investor Day event on March 1st of this year, Drew Baglino revealed Tesla's internal target of increasing the 4680 battery production rate by 1,000 per week per quarter, and he was almost certainly referring to an increase of 1,000 Model Y car sets, with each car set equaling 828 battery cells, which is what the 4680 equipped Model Y has. So basically this would translate to Tesla's internal target being an increased weekly run rate of 828,000 additional cells quarter over quarter. Thus, if you start with the last official 4680 battery production output numbers that Tesla shared on Twitter back in late December 2022, and if you extrapolate this rate of improvement out and you assume Tesla hits their internal goals, this would mean that by the end of this year, 2023, Tesla could be at an annual run rate of just a bit under 218 million individual battery cells, or somewhere just a little bit under 19 gigawatt hours per year, which would be enough battery cells to build over 263,000 Model Ys per year. Also, it's important to remember that with Cybertruck production starting soon, Tesla is going to need a lot of 4680 batteries for those Cybertrucks. And while Tesla doesn't plan to build a lot of Cybertrucks this year, 2024 will hopefully be the year when Cybertruck production really starts to take off. And there is a ton of demand for the Cybertruck, which should be a bestseller in the future once Tesla fully ramps up production and can begin really actually meeting that demand. And since each Cybertruck will have a large battery size, likely between 100 and 200 kilowatt hours per pack according to my estimates, it'll take quite a few 4680 batteries to build these trucks. Tesla needs their 4680 battery production ramp to be successful, and I believe it will be. Do let me know what you think about all this in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. And also, I wanted to say a special thank you to all of those of you who support me through Patreon. Your support makes a huge difference and really does play a big part in making these videos possible. If you'd like to find out more about how you can support my work and the Patreon community that I've set up, I'll put a link to that in the video description. Thank you so much.